Hi everyone, it's really chilly outside and I don't know if you can see, but it's slightly snowy outside, frosty, and I might try and squeeze this video in before Christmas. I don't know, or it might go up after New Year. But I had the idea of going through the love life lessons that I learnt this year. So this one will probably be more for my subscribers because my kind of strategy at the moment is to do some videos for my core audience, some videos for like casual viewers, and then some that are purely just aimed to appeal to everyone and get more on my channel. But I suppose anyone can learn lessons from it. Obviously I've been single, no surprise, but I have kind of dated, talked to people along the way. I suppose we should start with January. And luckily for me, this year I finally got over my French, whatever he was. And if you've watched my channel before, you'll know I was obsessed with him and we went on a few dates and it didn't work out. And the lesson I learned from him is that you can't get someone to like you. And I realise now that I kind of projected onto him, and in all honesty, I look back and I see it now as he was just someone that kept me going through lockdown. He was someone where, because I had no outside stimulus, I imprinted everything on him, and all my hopes and dreams were put on this man. I saw this man as the escape of me living in France, switching up my life. If I get with this man, I can leave my corporate job, I can move to France, and I can just live a life in Paris. And all my hopes and dreams I just imprinted onto this man. And I see that now. And I see that in lockdown, keeping the communication going, it kept me going through lockdown, where I was going through a really hard time. And I could see him for who he really is or was when we went on the date. And I haven't mentioned this before, but when we went on the date, he ordered an espresso. And in that moment, I knew it was over in that moment, because who orders an espresso on a date? It's honestly someone that isn't interested, someone that isn't into you. And he couldn't wait to get away quick enough. And even before, I think I said that he was late, and he just turned up from playing like tennis with his friends, and he probably hadn't even showered. And even in that moment there, I just thought, why have I wasted my time? I've wasted this whole year brewing up something in my head that isn't even real. It's a story that I've concocted that isn't even true. That's when I knew, and that's when it all broke down after that. Where are we now? We're December. I'm truly over this person now. I don't think about them. I don't go on their Instagram or anything. I just see it as part of my past, and I was obviously more into this person. When you don't sleep with a man, it's worse, because you don't have that realization of like being brought back down to earth. You're still living in the fantasy land of what could have been, and I spent a lot of time in that fantasy land of what could have been with this individual. And then I met someone else, and I literally haven't really talked about this person, but this person had quite an effect on me this year. It was somewhere between March and April, and I now see it now as this person loved bombed me, because I made the fatal mistake of telling this man my weakness, and I haven't even revealed my true weakness on camera. I think about it sometimes. I go back and forth about saying, should I reveal it? But it's quite a big deal to me, and I still can't reveal it on camera what it is. But I revealed my weakness to this man, and this man used this weakness against me, and he pushed on it. And what people do when I tell them my weakness is they use that as a way to manipulate me, because they know that's what I want. So they use that as a tool to manipulate me. And I've kind of gone through in the past of whether or not to be open with people. I've tried it both ways. I've been really open and vulnerable with people. I've been closed off with people. And it doesn't really seem to matter either way. But I told this person my weakness, and they used that, and they were just saying all these things, that they wanted a future with me, that they could see me being their wife, saying that they wanted to have children with me. And because I'd been without that for so long, I realised in hindsight that I was just love bombed by this person, and they were giving me all this affection and attention because they honestly knew that I was starved of it, and they pushed on that weakness. And in the end, it didn't work out because they had their own issues to deal with, and they hadn't fully dealt with them. It honestly didn't work out because he had a child, and that child was obviously his main priority. And because of that, I was always second best, and it was difficult for me to deal with that, to deal with the fact that I was always going to be second best. And obviously, because I don't have children, it's difficult for me to be put in that position because I don't have a child, and I know things change when you have children. I've tried dating people with children, and my experience of it hasn't really been that good. I'm not adverse to it, but I always feel that it's difficult for me to understand because I don't have children. I want to go into a relationship where it's all about us, so it's going to be difficult when someone has a child and they say, look, I can't see you this weekend. And that's kind of what it was like. This person wouldn't compromise, wouldn't make the effort to come and see me. And that's where it broke down, because it was all lovey-dovey on the phone, but this person wouldn't make the effort to come and see me. And in that moment again, I realised that it was all just like this fantasy that I'd created in my head. And this person had been love bombing me, telling me that they wanted to be with me and they saw me as the one. But it's just another person on my path to learn from. And I really learned from that not to rely on technology to communicate people. I really learned that if people aren't willing to see me in the flesh and take me out on dates, then I'm not interested. I'm not going down a whole communication of texting, phone calling type relationship. For me, if people aren't coming to see me or I'm not coming to see them, that's it. And that's what I learned from that scenario, is to concentrate on real world experiences and not concentrate on the false intimacy of phone calls, FaceTiming and texting, because it's not the same as real life communication. And then I spent my summer completely alone. As you've seen, I had my femcel summer, which I made a bit of a joke about it. It didn't create traction at all. I literally thought that would go viral, but no, it didn't. But then I just spent time alone because I needed to get over the French guy, and then I needed to get over this guy that love bombed me. So I spent the summer alone, kind of making videos and doing other things, and concentrated on going back to work. And that's when I had time alone and I was just concentrating on other things. And then the spanner in the works happened. And then in August, something else happened. So I made the video about my office crush. So it was a true story, but I completely elaborated it a bit and I embellished parts of it for a story, because obviously my channel is real, but there is a persona there sometimes. So sometimes I'm being real, sometimes I'm being a character, like How to Meet Rich Men. It's just a character. And that was kind of like an amped up video. And I did ask out my office crush, and I didn't document it at the time, months ago. In August, I reached out to him again, and we started chatting and it was just fine, and we were just chatting about work things, and it all kind of went a bit wrong. And what we on, number 4? The fourth thing that I learned this year is to never be vulnerable and never show some of my channel. I made the mistake of being vulnerable and being open with this person, and I showed them my channel, and I thought that we could build a friendship maybe over my channel, but for some reason it didn't work out. It was going completely fine. We were just having a cordial work kind of relationship and a bit flirty. But as soon as I was open and revealed my channel, I never heard from him again, and I would keep messaging him a couple of times and was just met with silence basically. And I had to accept that it just wasn't going to happen. And I think it's because I showed him my channel, and I can understand. I mean, I make videos about my love life, and a lot of people don't want their laundry aired online, and I don't really see it that way, but I can understand that for some people they don't want that in their life. And I made the mistake of being vulnerable and open with this person, and it completely backfired because they probably saw my videos and they probably think I'm crazy, but it's not. I'm not crazy. I'm just literally just making videos. Like, I make videos for fun, and it amuses me to make videos. So it didn't work out, and now it's just awkward, and I've just removed myself from the situation and just giving a break from it, because obviously when you go into work you see that person all the time. Because I've been rejected in the past, I like to almost tell everyone everything, and I like to just trauma dump on people and be like, this is me, this is all my past, deal with it. And I've done both ways. I've done the not revealing everything, I've done the revealing everything, and either way it just doesn't seem to matter what I do. But now I've really learned to not be vulnerable with people, and I'm I'm never gonna show a man my channel again. Unless I'm really serious with someone, then I will show people my channel. But I've learned now not to be vulnerable with people, and it's a shame, because I see a lot of advice on the internet saying you have to be vulnerable with people to connect, but honestly, when I'm vulnerable with people, it doesn't work. It's just too much for them, and I don't know if these are the wrong people, they're just not evolved, or they don't like the fact that I'm an influencer or I'm making videos online. Maybe it'd be different if I was just doing cooking videos, but because I'm talking about deep subjects such as depression and love and social issues, it honestly, it's too much for some people, and they just want a quiet life. And sadly, a lot of men they just want a bimbo that looks pretty on their arm and doesn't have anything to say. And everyone is entitled to what they want and their personal preference. And that is just, yeah, that is probably, out of everything, that's the one thing I've learned, is when to be vulnerable with people and when to be silent. So we're going on to next year, and my dating strategies for next year is I've learnt never to ask anyone out at work again. There is another story about somebody else I asked out at work, which is even worse than the one before. It is so bad. I thought I would probably be fired, but I will probably never talk about that one. That's just really bad. I might do one day. It's not that bad. So I think for next year, I made that video about deleting dating apps at Christmas, that like funny video. Next year, I'm gonna try Hinge, I think. Maybe try a different dating app, see how that works, and then I'll document that on screen, because I feel that I need to use that app for maybe a month or so that I can give you a proper debrief of how Hinge works, because I don't want to just put out a crap video. I want to like research it and put out a good video. Yeah, so I'll hopefully see you in the new year with my Hinge review, and we'll see what happens. And take care everyone, and see you soon.